Go. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Again, it's Jim Schmelzer from Detroit, Michigan, coming to you to Kenmore Camera. And today we're going to be talking about some lighting techniques. And I'm sure that there's some of you out there that have seen me before in person there at the camera store. And glad to zoom into you from Detroit, Michigan. Today we have a beautiful model with us, Lena. And I'll be explaining some lighting techniques. And if you've taken my class there before in Kenmore, you might have heard some of this stuff before. If not, we'll reevaluate it and go through some of these techniques today. Everybody there with me? And if you can, try to save some of your questions in the chat room till near the end, because I will be taking questions in about a half hour from now. So make sure you type them in, but not yet. Wait till the end of the class. How many viewers do we have out there? Everybody in now? You guys ready for me to go with it? How are we doing there, Ryan? Good? Okay. So let's get into this class. So you have a beautiful model and you have your light. Today we have one light until I add more. And the question that I often ask photographers is, when you have your light and you set your light up, how do you know how far away to put your light from your subject? Do you put it really, really, really close, or do you put it farther away? What is the science behind the distance of your light? Some photographers believe that the closer you get the light, the softer it is. And of course, that is true. But we would prefer that you change the size of the light source to make light soft or harsh, and not the distance. Yes, as you bring the light closer, it's going to get bigger and it's going to get softer because it is closer to the subject and it's getting bigger. And as you back it up, the light source is getting smaller and smaller, so it's getting harsher and harsher. Now, brightness doesn't have anything to do with quality of lighting. That's just what ISO or f-stop you're shooting at. But as far as the quality of light goes, that's all dependent on size and distance. So what makes lighting soft? Some people think diffusion. So they take diffusion and they put it over a tiny little light and they think it's going to be soft. It's not. Diffusion in the dictionary means disperse, spread the light. It doesn't mean softness. To make light soft, it has to be large. So, Lena, turn your face a little this way. Actually, turn your whole body this way. Perfect. So I have my light. I have it in really, really close to her, and it's producing. And again, if you don't know, this is a constant light. So I'm a big advocate of constant lights, you know that, and that way you can shoot video or take stills. You can kind of do both, and it's kind of convenient to be able to do that. Now, as we have our light, and I bring this light close, you can see that the light in close falls off fast. Light in close falls off fast. So if you have somebody over here that's taking a picture and you have your light really, really close, I'm going to be a lot darker than she is because light in close falls off fast. It's dying. Now, as you back the light up, it's had a chance to spread. And once that light starts spreading, it's covering another larger area with the same amount of brightness. So you're adjusting your light depth of field by the distance of your light from the subject. So in other words, let's say you have just one person in the studio. You can use a light really close because we don't need the light to go very far. When you add somebody into the shot, now she's brighter than I am. How do you even that light out? You back it up, and then you back it up, the light gets smaller and it gets harsher than it was when it was in close because it was a bigger light source in close. So back it up, and the way to maintain those same values is to change the size of the light source. So you can purchase a 7-foot umbrella at 10 feet away, will do the same thing. A 3-foot umbrella will do at a couple feet away. So that's your light depth of field. So you've got another scenario where you've got somebody that's really dark complected and somebody that's light. And you're looking at the pictures, and the dark person, if the light's further away, will be the same value as the lighter person. But if I bring the light in really closer to the darker person, they'll get brighter than me because the light's falling off fast. So you control your light fall off by the distance. That's kind of what I was trying to cover with you. Okay, so once you've got your light, you might need some type of fill. So you can always use a reflector. So the trick to using a reflector is that the light has to be aimed at the reflector. So if you're taking your light and you're aiming it at the subject, maybe no light's going to hit the reflector. And when you use a reflector, you tilt the bottom up because your light's on a 45 degree and it's coming down on a 45 degree, then you need to tilt the reflector up or it won't do anything. See, nothing, there it is, nothing, there it is. So you probably remember this technique I invented a long time ago where I twisted up like a potato chip to sneak a little light underneath and on the sides. And that's a great way of using these reflectors. You don't use a gold reflector in the studio if the light's not gold. If that's not warm and you're using a warm reflector, you're just warming up the shadows, not the whole photograph. So what happened? You turned a light on in the room that was tungsten and then you had daylight coming in from the window or something like that. Now, if you want to use a gold reflector, don't use it in the summertime because they're already warm. In the wintertime, you slap them and then you get a little color and then you still don't need a gold reflector. So what I do is I'll take subject, put them in the shade and bounce all gold light in there. That's really nice, especially if they have green eyes and you get some warmth in there. But again, mainly in the winter, not so much in the summer. And then again, you're in Seattle, so you might just need this all year. Just joking. Now here you're getting into your rainy season. And here in Detroit, it's just about over with fall, moving into our winter season. So yeah, we have a lot of snow. Not quite as pretty as Seattle, but I like it here. Okay, so that's a little trick about using the reflector. So you can put the reflector on the stand. Remember, silver reflector, you don't always need in as close as a white reflector. And once you got the reflector on the arm, you bend it. And if you feel like you want to twist it like a potato chip, you twist it, tighten it, and then that will sneak a little light in above, down below, and look how beautiful that could be. So that right there is just your simple one light setup. So let's put this away and we'll get into, how you doing there, Lainey?
Good.
You putting up with me? How those earplugs doing I gave you? That way you don't have to listen to me. Okay, so let's turn this light off. Take this umbrella off of here. And, you know, a funny thing is, you know, all umbrellas are rain umbrellas. You know, you ask photographers, can you go get that umbrella? It's raining. And they think that it's made for the photo industry instead of just being a basic umbrella. Okay, so now I'm going to put a diffuser on this light. And this light is good for teaching. So it's not on all the way. Sorry. Trying to find the magnets. Okay, that's locked in now. All right, so here we have our main light. And now we're going to get into some serious lighting that I can teach in case we go to take her photograph and she looks like she's Great Gatsby and we want to make the lighting a lot more harsher with more distinct shadows, then we're going to want to have a light that will produce that type of light for us. Why is this thing not on here right? That's correct. Hang in there. It's supposed to pop on there. And it's not for some reason. That's bizarre. Hang on, let me shut this off. Oh, look at that. There's some magnets stuck on here. And that kept it from going on. There we go. Yeah. That's your barn doors in the front. It's got a little diffuser on there, and this is a constant. Oh, got to cut that out. Okay, here we go. Now we have our light, and I'm going to take you into some different lighting positions. So as the light's down really low, you can see the number one problem in lighting. Do we have a close-up on the screen of that of her face? See the shadow from her nose? So let's go over here. So the shadow from her nose, the point of it is right there. It's sideways. It's horizontal. The catch lights on this photograph would be like 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock and not high enough. So the number one problems I see in lighting is photographers have their light down too low. They're afraid the light stand's gonna fall over or whatever it might be. So this point, the end of the shadow, needs to be headed to the edge of the lip. So let's raise the light up and see if we can get that shadow to go down to the edge of the lip. How's that looking? It's a good shot on the screen. Is it too bright or anything? Everything okay? It's a little hot. So then right here, we'll go to, oh yeah, it's a lot hot. There we go. And let's zoom it in a little bit more. She's really pretty. And let's fix the color. There we go. We'll put that black and white a little bit and let it really scream. Okay, so a little adjustment there on the color. And so we have our light, and now I have it up high. If it's too high, you will get a shadow from the nose going into the white of the eye. So you gotta watch how far their forehead sticks out and how much area you have for that light to get into the eyes. That's your correct height. This is not the correct height for this girl's face. So I'm gonna get it down. And remember, this is not the correct height either because it's too low and the shadow from the nose is going sideways. Here's the other biggest mistake besides the height, is they'll have the light back too far, and then the shadow from the nose is back in the eye again. So you have some photographers are trying to do Rembrandt lighting. So they think there's supposed to be a triangle patch over here, and they want to make the triangle patch really tiny, but the triangle patch will change its size based on how far that cheek sticks out or recesses. So as I pull this away and get the light up, you see how we are adjusting it to that face. You're doing really good. Nice. Okay, so that is explaining how don't let your light be back too far. You'll put a shadow in the nose and make sure the light is up high enough to, what do you think, Ryan?
They want to see your lighting setup. You have to put this mic input into the mic.
You can't. It doesn't. There's no mic input on that camera.
No, this into the switcher.
Oh, then there might be a delay, but try it.
They want to see it. They're not seeing anything.
Okay, cool. Hang on, people. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the camera still lined up good? Yep.
Ask her if the audio's okay.
Okay, check 1, 2. Is the audio still good? Checking audio. Good? I appreciate everybody's patience.
Said yes.
Yes. Sounds good? Okay.
Yep, we can hear you. Yep.
So again, let's just recap that really quick. Number one mistake in lighting is your light's down too low. You'll see soft boxes because the light's so soft, they're not paying attention to the shadows. Or the light's back too far and the shadow from the nose is going into the white of the eye. And to get it correct, you make that shadow go to the edge of the lip. So now let's take you through the different lighting patterns. When you play music, there's 7 notes to music, and in lighting, there's 7 positions of your light: split, broad, short, butterfly, modified butterfly, Rembrandt, and broad Rembrandt. Those are your 7 positions that if you're a photographer, you want to make sure that those are positions of the light that you know based on, what is it, out of focus? You want me to fix it? Okay. All right, so let's go into these positions. Hey, this side of your hair, can you just pull it behind your ear for a minute? Good, good enough. Okay, you're doing good. Thank you. All right, so just look right into the camera again. Now turn your face a little straighter. Yep, good. So the first position we are going to talk about is split lighting. So split light is when the light can be down low. So if you see in the wide shot, the light's down quite low and it's coming in and it's split lighting the face. Now, as we go to the close-up, you're gonna see she's got a black eye in there. Can you see the black eye? The shadows from her eyeball. You got the light in split position, which means split down the nose, but you bring it forward to you clean up in there. They don't teach you this stuff in books. This is not stuff you're ever gonna hear in a book. You gotta find the old-time photographers to learn. Early age, I was studying under the photographers that were 80 and 90. So this is where I kind of learned this by using this every day. Remember? Clean that up, get it right there, take the light off the ear, and feather the light off the ear. That's the best split light. So good about split light is, look at the clefts in her lip right there under her nose. Look how cute that is. So look at, if I put the light here, you don't see that. You're changing the dimension of your light, the angles of the light, and what you're doing to enhance is for correction. What are you correcting? We'll put some flaws on here and we'll make some things that we can correct. So remember, you aim the light, bring it forward. If it hits the other eyeball, you're too far, back it up, feather the light off the ear. Now, feathering just means aiming the light past something, skimming the light, feathering it. The ears are not part of the frontal planes of the face. You do not light the ear. The frontal planes are the nose, the cheeks, the forehead, both eyes. So that's split. Now, if you turn your face towards me, your face and body, just look straight ahead. Split light, split, short, and broad are the exact same things. I'm just in a view, or if I looked around her, this is broad, this is split, this is short. So the reason that's short to you is because that's the shortest amount of light on her face that you're viewing.
And again, when you turn off, you got your focus peaking and all that stuff on the cameras again, they don't want it on there.
Focus peaking? Oh yeah, okay,
Only gonna turn it off.
okay, thank you. All right, now turn your body that way. And what am I gonna go into now? Broad. And again, I put her hair back so that we don't see, you can get right to the point of the light. So the light's gonna be in there. Again, over here on the side, no light on the other eye, come in, feather it off the ear, and that's your position for broad lighting. So broad, split, short are just the same thing viewed from different angles. And again, feathering the light is when you skim the light off the ear and let it go past the sun. Now turn your face to me a little bit more. Yep, you're good. And then look straight in the camera. Okay. Actually, turn your face to me a little more. Okay, now we're going to go into butterfly light. It's when the nose aims straight at the light. Yep, turn your face this way a little more. Now you could put this on a boom and to do this, but I don't prefer that because I want to move the light around quite a bit. So, I mean, if you are going to be a fashion photographer and you just want to do butterfly light on the whole shoot, put it on a boom. All right. So what's wrong with the lighting right now is that it's too low. There's no shadow under her nose. So how do you know what's the correct height? So you go up. Now I'm going to talk about the axis of the light. Tilt that light down. That's your axis. And if the axis or the tilt of the light isn't correct, it'll be brighter down here than it is up there. So you are always conscious of the axis of the light. Now we're going up a little higher. See that beautiful shadow under her nose? I'm just going to check the monitor just to see how it's looking. A little dark. Sorry. There we go. Now, if the shadow under the nose, put your chin down. Keep going. If the shadow goes into the lip, you are erasing the lip. Now slowly come up and look in the camera. Okay, so you are defining how much shadow you want under that nose. Too much, it's into the lip. And if you're down too low, it's not enough. So, and then again, you're watching all the features to make sure that you get that butterfly shadow. It's in the shape of a butterfly underneath there. And that's why we call it butterfly light. So far, you've learned split, short, broad, butterfly, and you know the height now. Are you seeing a wide shot in this room? Can you see how high that is up? That's a 45-degree angle up. Always pay attention to how high that light is, because I do see photographers and the light's not high enough. Okay, so let's modify this into modified butterfly. So that's when the shadow from the nose heads toward the edge of the lip. Can you see the point of that shadow going right to the edge? If it touches it, it's Rembrandt. If it doesn't touch it, that's modified butterfly. The butterfly shadow that was under the nose is headed to the edge of the lip. Where's the finish line? The edge of the lip. So this is modified butterfly. When it touches the edge of the lip, what's that called? Rembrandt. Rembrandt on her face right now is not a tiny little triangle. It's not. If I move it over, the shadow from her nose went into the white of the eye. So you're saying, oh, I want to do Rembrandt. Oh, I want to do Rembrandt. Rembrandt's supposed to have a little triangle. No, it's not. Look at the $100 bill in your pocket. That's Rembrandt broad. Look at the lighting on that painting and tell me how big the triangle is. The triangle varies on different faces. Sorry, but I just had a student went and rented lights and put the shadow into the eyeball over there so bad that I told him, go study the paintings back in the museums and look to see if that shadow is really into the eye. Okay, so back to Rembrandt. So when you're done with your modified butterfly, the shadow from her nose is headed to the edge of the lip, you close it in, and you're done. Until you put it right into the lip and you erase the lip, let alone the shadow in the eye, the lip is erased again. See, why do you think all photographers want to use a big umbrella? Because it's just a wash of light with no shadows for any 15, 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid to take pictures. Actually, my grandson's not bad at 5 because he's got a big, huge, soft light that doesn't show any shadows. If you really to the really crisp lighting, then pay attention to this class unless you left already. And watch what I'm trying to pass on to you about the importance of learning these 7. And then I'll go into kind of why. Now, the other one is broad Rembrandt. So turn your body that way. Got it? Yeah. And then you can just kind of look into the corner over there. I'm going to move the light forward till what? Till the shadow from the nose gets out of the white of the eye. We're going to aim the light at her, and then we're going to feather it off. There's your perfect lighting. Broad Rembrandt. That's broad Rembrandt. That's the exact lighting you should see on a $100 bill. Everything going good? Any questions or anything? We're still going good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we've got this part down pretty good. Look right in the camera. Yep, good. So you can put your hair back in front of your ear the way you had it. Yep, cool. All right, so turn your body towards me. Nice. So I'm going to make a decision on how I would like to photograph her. And since she's got that thing in her hair, then that's probably the correct angle, because just fixing a couple of hairs. This is probably the angle I'd like to photograph her at. Okay, so I'm going to turn this light away for a minute. We're going to go to a wide shot. I'm going to show you how I'm going to light the background. Is this okay? Can you see me over here? So this right here is called a cucoloris. You can call it a cookie, but those you eat. This is called a cucoloris. And if you've ever seen a grip truck on any kind of lighting production, it's definitely any kind of movie, in the grip truck has got about 30 to 50 of these cookies. And when you watch movies and you light a scene, you always break up the patterns. It's never just a wash of light. You don't want just wash like a softbox, just a wash. Then the light on the background, just a wash. And sorry, but there's more advanced levels you can get into in photography. And this I've been using for 25 years. Just this one I've had for 25 years. And I like to break up the stuff that I do. I like to break up the patterns on the wall. Back here, I'm using a Stella Light and Motion, and it's got the Fresnel lenses on the front. But you can see what it's breaking up on that background. You can change the distance of your light from the cookie. You can change the size of the cookie. You can change the patterns in the cookie. I just did another class and I forgot my cookie, and I minutes with a cardboard and an X-Acto knife. So it's nothing special. And if you look at the cookies, just type in cucalores and look at all the different patterns, make your own. I happen to have it on a scrim gym frame with a clamp that holds it in position for me. And this is kind of one of the styles that I like to use in breaking up the patterns in the background. And again, depending on what f-stop you shoot at and all that kind of stuff is how that'll simulate onto the subject. So far, so good? All right, so I'm going to get rid of this light and go into something else. Pop this on here. Sorry. So right now, I'm in a very famous town in Michigan called Mount Clemens. And it was known for healing mineral baths. Actually, Thomas Edison came to this town quite a bit too. We have a train station at not too far up the street. So, okay, so what's Jim doing now? So here I've adapted to a Fresnel lens. And what's special about this sheet of glass is this light right here is better than any beauty dish or anything you'll ever take a picture with. And this one I kind of like because it's 10 inches. Now, what's the difference? So the bigger the size, you're mimicking the size of her face. The smaller, you got to back it up. This I can get closer and it's going to produce. Remember, softness is the size, the distance. The rings are big, open hole in the center. They get the smaller rings on the side so that the light comes out like butter. So let's play with this light a little bit. Let's turn this way down. So, boy, there's a lot of light coming out of there, isn't it? That's all the way down. So, do we have enough fill in here? Let's take a look at this picture. Oh, that's looking good. No, not enough fill. So, hang on. That'll help. Then I'm going to add a little bit of this reflector over here. That'll help. Then I'm going to take another light opposite the main light. This is another Stella Light and Motion CLX10. You can get these at the store along with your LUMIX Panasonic camera. And that will light up that side of her hair. And so, just so you know, this class by Panasonic. I'm a LUMIX ambassador for, boy, I don't even know how many years. 5 or 6. I fell in love with the camera about 5 or 6 years ago, and then they came out with a GH5. I normally use the S1R. I love the S1H. This is the S5. So this one, full frame, the S5, we have a great special here at Ken. You know the reason that you support your local camera stores because they're doing stuff for you guys like this where they put on classes and they invest in you and you invest in them. I've been to that store many times. I love your store. You're lucky you have something beautiful like that in your town. And remember to support your local camera store. So the 5S is so much smaller and lighter.
Closer to 2.
And if you put this camera, if you put the new 35 that's coming out or the 85 is a lot smaller than this light, tight, beautiful full frame camera. So, but today we'll be taking pictures with the S1R. That's what's on the tripod. And just wanted to give a plug to LUMIX and thank them for sponsoring me. And let's move on with this. So we're taking a look here. And I can already tell that hair light's too bright. So I'm going to tone that down a little bit. And you can put a remote control in your pocket for the Stella lights to control that, or you can just go up there. Now I'm kind of viewing it, and to the natural eye, the shadow there has a lot of nice detail in it from my natural eye. When you use, what you see is what you get. So what we're seeing here is what we're definitely gonna get. Now, to get this to look more dramatic, I'm gonna raise this up, tilt this down, get it a little bit more off her forehead. That's your access. And turn your body a little bit more. That's nice. Yep, your face look great in the camera. Okay, so now I'm just looking at all the little details. I see a couple of hairs under here. I'm gonna take those and turn them. Put them in there. This here doesn't look too great. We're gonna touch that behind her earrings. We're making sure it's got a nice flow. And we're gonna check this side. You always go behind, scrape, pull it in. If you've got hairspray, you spray your hand, you never spray them, and you just catch the little flyaways. And you can scrape across the outside and take care of all that. Her posture is excellent. I think we're ready to take a picture. Any questions? Here now? Okay. So at that point, I wish this camera was in black and white. Oh, it took one. What do you know? It took it in 16 by 9. The shadow's a little bit too dark, so we're gonna turn up the fill. So I got, what is up? How's that looking? Nice.
We don't have a way to rotate it for the audience, so.
Oh, yeah, I'll just shoot it this way, smart. Nice, how's that look?
Yep.
Now, we're gonna take the light and I'm gonna feather it even more. And see how I'm just taking it right to the edge. A little bit of light shadow into her white of her eye, just tilt a little bit. Yep, tilt your head just a little more. Nice. Just that little bit. Now she's getting some shadows down in here. You can always move this back, try to clean some of that up. And let's pop another picture. Eyes right here. Nice shot. I look better if it was in black and white. There. Nice. It does need a little bit more hair light over there in that corner. Let's do that. Let's light up that brooch a little bit more. Cool. Let's take one more. Nice. Turn your face to me a little more. Just your face. Turn a little more. Yeah. And then we're going to readjust that a little bit. Get the shadow out of her eye. Nice. Look at that. Modified butterfly. Let's get one of those. Oh, nice shot. Got it. Do something even crazy. I'm going to shut this light off. We're going to take this cookie. We're going to put this on her. And then I'm going to sneak the light through there.
Jimmy, can you get it off? Go back to live view after you're done taking the picture because I'm stuck on your right. Yep. There you go.
Now we're putting some patterns onto her outfit to diminish the lighting on her chest. And now that cookie's doing that for us. And that's definitely leading your eye right into her face. Now I'm going to tilt that angle down a little bit more. Play with those shadows in there. And if that's not the spot you want, you can move the cookie, you can move the shadows around.
Go back to live view.
Okay. So we're going to take these shadows now. We're going to kind of move them around. If you want to do something really mystical in there, that's kind of cool right in there too. Let's take one of those. So you're varying your types of light that you're doing through that cookie.
Live view, live view.
There's another one, I think so. So here's another view, and they're just sleeping through there. Really cool stuff. So I do video production, and I like lighting that's moving or has blotchiness and tilt just a little. Yep, that's nice. Good. Some of the techniques that I'm normally doing on a daily basis, and I'm hoping that's helping some of you out there. Anybody have any questions so far? Any questions?
Live view.
Okay, we can open it up now to some questions. Anybody have any questions? Nothing?
I don't hear anything.
Anything in chat?
Yes, we do have some
Yeah,
questions.
here we go.
Okay,
Stand by. Tell her to
Do
go
you-
ahead.
go ahead with the questions.
Oh, okay. Ryan, you can also open the Q&A panel and see the questions in there. Let me see here. Hang on.
Yeah, see if she can read.
Phoenix is asking, are some particular light angles recommended for a particular body type?
Are some particular light angles recommended for a particular body type?
Okay, I can explain that. Okay, so
Wait, let's add, they want to know what the, you got.
Question,
We
yeah,
need the question
okay.
first.
So the question is there certain bodies, or actually what it should be saying is there's certain faces, shapes of faces that certain lighting patterns are good for?
She's asking about lighting angles.
Lighting angles, that's your lighting patterns, that's your split, your broad, your short, your butterfly, your Rembrandt, all that. So let's make a mistake on her and I can explain that. Take your left hand and put it on your finger on your nose. Go that way a little bit, back a little bit. Right there, is it in focus?
No.
It's not? Got so dark in here, can't see anything. Okay, hold that. Go up a little higher
Still not focused.
and a little this way. A little more. Sorry, hard to see. Got it. Okay, see the shadow? Let's say this girl has a bump on her nose, and the shadow from your light is making a bump on her nose. Show up. The bump on her nose is showing up in the shadow. If you just take your light and move it into butterfly position, that's gone. So put that down. Now, if a person has a really wide face, the first thing you never do is put that reflector underneath and make their face wider. You ever see the reflector underneath? The original one was called the triflector from Stu Williams out of London, England, invented that. Now it's called the illuminator. But if they have chunky cheeks, why are you making it? Remember, light makes things bigger, shadows make things smaller. So shadows is what makes faces more narrower. Now, if they have, the number one thing people don't like about their faces is their nose. So take that hand, your right one, put your, on your, like you have a nostril. So her nostril's really wide. She's got a really wide nose. And what's happening right now is the light is hitting her face. So if you just take the light over to split light position, you put that side of her nose in the shade, you can't tell how wide her nose is. So you can put it down. And once you start investigating faces and what type of light is for what face, you'll start playing with Rembrandt and split. Bro. You just gotta try all the different patterns on the face and then move it around. Another question?
Let's see here.
She's finding one.
Photographers refer to sculpting light using lighting equipment. Could you?
Tell her to repeat because I cut out.
Repeat that.
Okay, photographers refer to sculpting light using lighting equipment. Could you tell us more about that, please?
photographers refer to sculpting with lighting equipment. Can you tell them about that?
How to sculpt your light?
I'm just reading the question.
He can hear you.
I can hear it.
I guess just maybe how you use lighting to sculpt like the face, or it would all be about shadows and light and making forms. I'm not exactly sure what the question is.
That's kind of what I just took them through in the class, but I can do it again.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you show all photos at once for comparison? That I don't know if we can do that, Robert.
That's tough on live view.
Yeah.
I can take them through it again really quick
You
though.
can scroll through them.
Here, let's do questions first.
I'll go through them really quick. I use this light, it's easier. Okay, so let's start with the mistake. Lights down too low. I'll take a picture of this so you know what's a mistake. Our doors open, ready to roll. Here's your first picture. That's your mistake. Lights down too low. Good. Now we're gonna go back to live view, raise it up. Now the shadow is in the eye. In your face, just a hair, right there. Shadow from the nose is in the eye. Okay? Now, okay, I put your ear behind your ear again, because then I think they'll see it better. Split light comes in, take your barn doors, and feather the light off. This is your first shot, that's split. Tilt your head just a hair, yep. Turn your face to me, yep, good. No cookie on the background. Turn your short lighting. Let's take a picture of that. Good. Turn your back. Kind of into that corner. Turn that hair light off so it doesn't hit the side of the face. Yeah. That's pretty good. Not bad. Let's take that. Okay, and then you Rembrandt. Okay, so right there. No shadow in the eye, no shadow in the eye there. That's your broad Rembrandt. Now turn your face forward. Get this light stand. Keep turning, keep turning. That's your butterfly. Turn your face this way a little bit. Yep, tilt just a hair. This will be your modified butterfly. Is this he's looking for? And one more. Turn your face a little more. And there's your Rembrandt. Okay, so see, I just whipped you through a bunch of different positions of the light. So you come in with your light, get it as close as you can, get the height correct, bring in your barn doors, feather your light off the ear, and there's the position of your light. Then you just add the rest. You can add your cookie then. Let the cookie do some stuff on the background. Break up that background. Very simple to use. And then add your other hair light if you want. Next question.
Okay. Kevin asks, is there a preferred lighting pattern for family portraits?
Okay, so good question. Now, if this is a family and you leave hard lighting on and her shadow falls onto, it's hard to see with the black shirt, people are in a family and your light's over to a 45-degree angle to make it form in three-dimensional around, and then light shadows are falling on people because your light's too small. that point, you back it up, you use a big 7-foot umbrella and let that light be soft. So big light sources for families.
Awesome, thank you. Phoenix has 2 questions. One is, if a model has really black hair, is there a trick to make them appear to have more volume? Well, with black hair, is there a trick
Okay, so
to
she's
make
how to
them?
get black hair to stand out.
Yeah, probably. I
Okay,
think
so
that's
let's say we're taking pictures outside. And I watch photographers, I call it chasing the model. Oh, the model's over there, click, click, click. Oh, the model's over there, click, click, click. No. You think to yourself, oh, they got dark hair. Oh, their hair has to be in a lighter portion of the background. Oh, they got blonde hair. They need a darker part of the background. So you go outside, you frame it up, you put your model in there. You don't just go click, click, click. Okay, you ever been on a set, on a movie set? Isn't there somebody with a scope looking, or somebody going like this saying, put your camera here, use this lens, get the angle from here. So as a photographer, what I would love to tell you is when you photograph people outside and you're figuring out their angle and, a long lens, make them look good, separating the hair, sun behind them, and then light the front of them. And I've been there to your camera store before and taught a lot of classes outside on how to do outdoor lighting techniques. But again, in the studio, if it's blonde hair, you don't need as much light on the hair. If it's black hair, you need a lot more light. And then watch the background. Don't put dark hair against dark backgrounds. Next question.
okay. Phoenix also wants to ask, why did you use a silver reflector instead of a white reflector?
Okay, that's correct. White in close, silver far away. So for demonstration purposes, silver shows better, but remember, the silver is meant to be further away. So do the same thing as a white one up close, doesn't show anything in the eyes, a silver one further away. That's actually a really soft silver material. So it's so soft that it's not as reflective as like mylar or a really type of shiny silver. So watch when you purchase a reflector, you get a soft silver.
Okay, thank you.
Next question.
Jay Bailey is referring to in
My
the
buddy.
beginning. In the beginning of the class, you were using a single light, or did you have a fill light behind the camera to the left on the whole time?
There was, because for the video production, they have to see me.
Yeah, no, well, let me see here. Is the reflector and a single light enough to get started? Was that, that was the end of the question.
One light?
Is a single,
All you really need to get started is a one light and probably an umbrella and a reflector.
Okay.
And you're in the game. And like I said earlier, you can buy some of these. This is a Westcott Solix. I don't even know how much this light is, 200, 250 or something. I mean, you can get in this game so cheap now. And with constant lights, what you see is what you get. You're doing really good there.
Yeah.
She hasn't fainted yet.
we do have some good specials on lighting this weekend, so you guys. And Jay Bailey, if that didn't answer your question, go ahead and type in something in there in the Q&A and we can try and get that answered. Let's see. Parveen is wondering, what is the ideal zoom for small places? My studio is small, so what zoom is best for portraits?
Okay, so if you're shooting with a LUMIX camera, we all know that the workhorse lens, if you only had one lens in the industry you could purchase, it's the 24-105. That is your workhorse. Back in the day, it was 24-70. And then they came out with a 24-105 and we all went, oh my God, now I can take portraits with this lens. So yes, you can get away with it with the 24-105, but just keep in mind, the further you are away and zooming in, the less distortion. Distortion means you're going to make them wider with a wide lens. So today, my typical portrait lens is a 70-200, because when it's on a tripod, I can tilt. It's got a collar that goes on your tripod, and so the lens is mounted on there. You can tilt it, change your angles. But if not, get to 24-105.
Yeah, it's always a good one to start with, right?
Yeah.
It's a good all-around lens for a lot of things.
Hey, when I'm at Kenmore Camera, we usually take a break and go in the kitchen area and we eat some pizza. Is it break time yet? Or I got to do that here in Detroit?
You gotta finish your job first. Oh, you got a good memory.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my favorite part.
Lamar is asking, are the rule of thirds important?
Absolutely.
Do you ever break them?
Okay, so my opinion, not so much in the studio because a headshot's a headshot and you're really not doing the rule of thirds and put them off center unless it's for type of an ad and they got to put some type up here. But outside, 100%. What I
Okay.
notice outside is photographers are up too high and they're shooting into the ground. The ground is not the subject. So remember, all fashion photographers that shoot catalog stuff have a 300mm lens. They're a quarter of a mile away and they're down so low, the ground is less than 1/3. So you're and remember, since you're down low, you're not really shooting up at them because you're so far away that it's not that factor of going right up at them. So what I would like to tell photographers, get down low, use a really long lens and use the lens wide open. Now in
Okay.
Detroit, where I'm at, we shoot everything at 1.2, so Detroit looks better. If I lived in Seattle, I'd be at f/22 for everything.
Okay.
Next question.
Kevin's wants to know, and you went over this already, but maybe you can go over it again. What is the lighting effect from lighting from behind the model?
Okay, so the only thing you want to do from lighting behind the model is to separate the subject from the background. You're making it three-dimensional. So that's why typically we'll use two rim lights coming in on the subject, but you don't do a white background and put white edge lights on somebody because then the edge of them blends in with the background. So edge lights are for dark backgrounds and darker subjects so that's not washing them out, and it just helps to make it three-dimensional. Once you've got that light coming in from behind, then you light up the face and add the rest of your lights so you can see your subject. Next question.
And again, if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the Q&A. I think maybe we have one more. Phoenix wants to know, are there particular light angles recommended for particular body types? Like, oh wait, we already went over that one. So, okay, that one's already answered. And somebody wanted to see the photos. If we could go over the photos that you
Take
took.
another picture.
Well, no, if we could just see the photos that you've already,
let's do it.
remember somebody asked if we could
It's probably on
see
there
a
though.
comparison. If that's a possibility.
Maybe not, because I can't see anything on the camera.
There we go. That works. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe.
But I can't see them, so I don't know how to
Oh,
tell
you
them.
can't see, so you can't tell us kind of like what.
You want to scroll through it?
No, you scroll.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But you can't see them.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I got it now. Okay, so here's our first shot. That's modified butterfly.
Okay.
But I think what you really need to see when you're looking at these photographs is look how much her face changes as the lighting changes. Remember, doesn't matter what studio you go to, they all have the light in the same spot. It's a soft box, it's on a 45-degree angle and never moves.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
just look at how much her face has changed between broad Rembrandt and broad lighting. Look at that.
Yeah.
So what I normally do is I'll take these photographs, but then maybe you can see there the hair light's too much. It's even got a blinking on it.
I like the angle though.
That's supposed to be Rembrandt, but it's not because there's no light in the eye. That's the one where the light's down too low because you can see the shadow from the nose. That's what I see in almost every portrait I see out there. That soft shadow from the nose, light down too low.
So how would you
Raise
just
the
bring the
light
light,
up.
would you just bring the light up and a little bit more towards the front, or?
Yeah, see how the light's up higher here?
Okay.
Yeah, just get the hug.
Like,
Want me to
whoop.
go through them one more time? You think they're not getting it? Yeah, maybe I'm too fast.
Yeah, you're going through these pretty fast. No, it's okay.
Some people think I'm a New Yorker. I talk so much. I'll take you through them again. Let's go through them again.
Yeah, if you just kind of go through and if you can remember what lighting you used, like just quickly.
All right, here's our first position. This is Rembrandt.
Okay.
Rembrandt feathered. And just to keep us out of trouble, let me make sure this is low enough. That's as low as that goes. Okay, cool. Can you guys see that lighting on her face?
Yeah, we can see it in the little picture.
Live view.
Oh, you gotta go live.
Yeah, and now watch if it goes up too high. Can you see the shadow from her forehead going into the eye? Does that
Yeah.
show? Or is it too much fill to see that?
Well, we can only, there we go. That's better. If we do that.
Okay, after you take the picture, Jimmy, can you
Yeah.
hold it up there on the screen so we can see it?
Okay. Let's take this again. And then I'm gonna,
Keep that up there. Keep the picture up. Yeah.
and then I'll lower this down. Be able to see the difference, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Good.
Okay.
Now turn your face a little. Right there. That's Rembrandt. Good. Now,
Live.
that's your split.
I'm sorry.
Ooh,
can you
that's
tell
really
me,
nice.
what is your model's name again?
What's your name? Mom?
Limey. Lena.
Lena? Doing great, Lena. Hang
She
in
is.
there.
Doing really good. You are. Big gap. That's split. Now turn your body that way. Good. Yep, in that corner where you're looking perfect. She's got this down. Here's your broad. And then. That's your short.
Kumar's comment, in most photos below chin or neck, the shadows there. What can you say about that? Is that,
The shadow under the chin?
yeah, the
That's
neck?
awesome, isn't it? She doesn't like it?
I don't know. It's just below the chin or neck, the shadows there. What can you say about it? Like, is it something that you strive for, or should somebody avoid it, or?
Can you guys, if I put this in front of the camera, will they be able to see this?
Camera one. Yes.
Does it show?
Hey, Ben.
Not a focus for that, but yeah. Hold it in front of her face. You can- and the model
How about this
face.
now? Is it showing now?
Yeah, it's-
You're gonna show us the shadow and,
yeah.
That's a painting. That's a
Rembrandt.
painting. See the shadows under the, I
yeah.
think what it is, I don't know if people have been to the museum before.
Well, I think, you know,
You know what I tell photographers, don't look at photographs because maybe it's the blind leading the blind. Go to the museum and look at paintings so that
yeah, it's all
we know how those
subjective.
artists painted. And remember,
It's
when
subjective.
did all the artists paint? They didn't start painting till 11, 12, 1, 2. That's why those shadows are coming down under the chin. And those shadows are coming down underneath there to hide all this. It's not part of the frontal planes. The highlights are supposed to be on both cheeks, nose, forehead, and chin.
You didn't get no definition in the bone structure either. If you didn't have a shadow under there, it would just look like one
Correct.
big
And I think what
continuous
happens is,
neck.
it's like we went into soft light, and I don't know if people are used to seeing hard light and seeing shadows. And that's when you gotta be really good, because the shadows have to be right on the money. And it's too easy to just bounce a light or use an umbrella, but when you get into this, your photography is really gonna stand out because the lighting's a lot more dramatic.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I also have a ton of videos on YouTube if you subscribe to James Schmelzer Workshops. You can go on
Okay.
YouTube and look up James Schmelzer. Some are under Jim. Some people call me Jim, some call me James.
Yeah, if you go
Yeah,
into
and-
the, if you go in the chat too, I put his contacts in there, his Instagram and his
Okay, cool. Because there's a
website,
lot
so.
of this. And then anybody can feel free to reach out to me. I'm only trying to help. I know I talk fast and all that, and sometimes I need people to ask me questions because I'm not, I want to help.
Okay. Lloyd is asking, how do you feel about LED lights? You're using them right now, right? Constantly.
Okay.
Well,
So if you've ever heard of Kelby Training, I produced a video called Constant Lighting at least 7 years ago, and it flopped because nobody knew that this would be the future. I did. I told everybody, you won't be using strobes in the future, but oh no, you don't want to listen to me. And now everything is LED lighting. So LED lighting is awesome. And remember, the quality of the LED lights now are a lot better than they were even 3 years ago. So these are all LED lights. And on an everyday basis, since the majority of the work I do is video production and stills, I would prefer constant lights.
yes, yes, definitely. Much easier to work with too. And they've got the,
Use motor drive.
yeah. And then they got the
People don't
color
blink.
temperatures. All right, well, if anybody has any questions, put them in now, or we are going to just say, give it a wrap here. Does anybody have any more
And
questions?
then I just want to tell everybody again, make sure you stop by and get those specials.
Yeah.
All the gear they have over there at Kenmore Camera, and support your local camera store. I do. I've been there before.
Yes.
And remember to thank Panasonic, LUMIX. And I'm all in on LUMIX cameras. I gave up. I'm not going to say any other brands, but I gave it all up, sold it all off, and used nothing but LUMIX. If it doesn't do everything I would need it to do on a daily basis, I'm jumping ship.
Thank you. Thank you
But
for
thank
working
you.
all
Yeah,
your,
thank you, everybody out there. Thanks for coming in.
yeah, thank you for doing.
I don't have any books, but there's a ton of videos on YouTube and Facebook and
Do you have a link to those videos somewhere?
um,
How do they find you on YouTube?
they gotta type in my name, James Schmelzer. There's a bunch that pop in, and if you don't type, there's a bunch under James, there's a bunch under Jim. And then I just did another one on Hollywood lighting. That one's only a couple months old. If you type in Hollywood lighting techniques, it'll pop up.
Great, great.
Great.
Thank you again. And thank
Thank
you,
you all.
Ryan. Thank you, Ryan, back there doing all the hard behind the scenes work. Thank you, Lena, for,
Great job for Ryan.
yeah, I know, all right.
It takes a team, doesn't it? But
Yes,
thank you
it
all. And I
does.
appreciate everybody viewing today.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And if you're local, try and stop by the store and see the deals that we have and say hi to Mark and Peter and the great Panasonic team that we have here. And you're going to get an email with a bunch of coupons that you can use online. So check for that after the class. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend. Bye,
Okay,
James.
bye.
Bye.
So much.
Bye,
Bye.
Mom.
Bye, Ryan. Bye, Lena.
Bye.